All right, let's take you back to one of our top stories, actually the only story topping all the media houses at the moment. Not only is the country divided, but it seems there are different views and opinions about the president within the ruling party. This, of course, follows the release of the Phala Phala report, which looks into the theft of President Cyril Ramaphosa's farm. The panel's report found, among other things, that the president may have committed serious misconduct and violated the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act, and has yet to answer where the money that was stolen came from. eNCA senior reporter Aviwe Mtila is following those developments for us, getting reaction on the ground, and he joins us now live. Aviwe, I understand that you were with the ANC's Integrity Commission. That's quite interesting because they had their own report into this matter, and they still allowed for the president to contest his position as president in December. I wonder if they changed their minds now.
You remember the Integrity Committee didn't get much detail on the actual contents of the Phala Phala saga in its entirety, as the president said that that matter was being handled, we do understand, by the public protector, among others. I am with the Electoral Committee Secretary here, Chief Mtila, just to get an understanding what has changed since that damning report by former Chief Justice Sandile Ngcobo was released. That report, of course, saying that the president must face impeachment given that he may have committed several serious offences. Those include, of course, we do understand that members of the cabinet and deputy ministers may not undertake any other paid work. Just some of what came out there. I want to understand now what may have changed, given the go-ahead of 16 candidates to contest the top 6 positions, one of them being being President Cyril Ramaphosa. Chief Mtila, thank you for joining us at eNCA. Is there anything that has changed given the report that came out last night on President Cyril Ramaphosa contesting for presidency, as he had the most number of nominations headed to 16 December?
It is very important for us to emphasize that the work of the Electoral Committee is first and foremost guided and directed and also instructed by the ANC Constitution and the rules governing electoral processes within the ANC as approved by the National Executive Committee. Because when we deal with ANC members, we don't differentiate in terms of the Constitution and the rules. We don't make a differentiation that you are a senior leader or a president or a branch member. All of them are subjected to the same rules. So we don't make rules to fit certain circumstances, no matter how difficult those circumstances could be. It's important to first establish that fact. Then secondly, there is Rule 4 within the rules that are approved by the National Executive Committee to guide the nomination and electoral processes within the ANC. In terms of that rule, there are 3 areas that we need to look at very carefully in coming to terms with matters like this. The first is that the first category of comrades who may not qualify for nomination in December will be those that are found guilty or criminally charged in a court of law with serious crimes, which crimes we describe as those that could have a prison sentence of more than 6 months. And then the second category is those that have been found guilty by a disciplinary committee after they have contravened the code of conduct of the ANC and the ANC Constitution, or who had had their membership suspended in the last 10 years. The last category is those who are on temporary suspension pending the outcome of a disciplinary case or a case in court. Now, when you juxtapose the recommendations of the high-level panel against the Constitution and the rules, you then come to a conclusion that President Ramaphosa is not affected by those rules that would disqualify somebody from being nominated to be a candidate for the top 6 positions.
What about this report, though? This report, of course, coming from that panel, Section 89 panel constituted by Parliament itself, that talks of that the president should have, in fact, reported the theft that happened at the farm. He's not allowed to have any other paid work than that. I mean, these are serious recommendations that talk of him being impeached. Surely the Electoral Committees ought to then look at this report seriously.
Yes, and when you look at reports like those, you have to apply the rules consistently. There are other reports, for instance, the Zondo Commission report, the report around digital vibes. They include serious issues, but issues have not come before the courts of law. Now, if that is not the situation, you will not exclude those that are affected until such time that maybe they are before the courts and answering those allegations inside the court. For now, the reports are there. We note them, and then we'll keep on watching the developments until the cases are finalized.
Have you met as the Electoral Committee after this report came out, and what could then change anything headed to 16 December where the elective conference is supposed to sit? We do understand the NEC is meeting this evening at 7 p.m.
The Electoral Committee does not have to meet each and every time there is a report which does not affect its work. That's why I'm saying the rules are not, made as and when issues arise. The rules are there to stand the test of time. That's why these rules, even if we meet, we use the same rules, and the interpretation is the same. As long as the correct interpretation of the rules and the Constitution is available, there's really no need for us to meet. If there are changes in terms of what I've outlined, and there's a court case or there's a suspension of a member of the ANC, then we'll then take that into account and then take appropriate action.
And so this panel, Section 89, saying that the president violated the Constitution, which he's supposed to uphold, has no bearing in him standing for presidency of the African National Congress in December.
Is that what it says? Because
it suggests that it may have violated his constitutional obligations. We can go through it. The members of cabinet and deputy ministers may not undertake any other paid work according to the Constitution, which is what this panel suggests that the president did.
So which is a competent authority to make that finding? It's a court of law. So that's why I'm saying that the rules are very fair. They apply to everybody irrespective of who they are. So we watch the space and watch the events as they unfold. Where it's necessary for us to invoke the rules, we'll do so without fear or favor.
Okay, and then just lastly, going forward, what happens from your side as Electoral Committee, pending, of course, the release of this report?
No, we will work as normal until there is any other information that could make us to change our minds. So all our top 16 nominees for the top 6 positions remain on the ballot. The status quo remains and is work in progress.
All right, thank you very much. Chief Mtila, there, the Secretary of the Electoral Committee of the African National Congress, which have been working since 2021 in June, I understand, looking through who could be eligible to take part, for example, in the elective conference in December, looking to those merits and demerits, those that are suspended, which we do understand can't take part in the elective conference in December, those that are charged facing serious crimes that span over 6 months can't take part. But of course, we just heard that the president still maintains and given the green light to go ahead and contest the position of the ANC president. What we do know also, Maseko, that's happening is that the NEC, the highest decision-making body of the party in between conferences, has a special meeting this evening at around 7 p.m. where it will then sit and decide its way going forward as the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress.